This is a TalkStation original podcast.
I have an article here from The Stream. It's an article written by Tom Murosky. And the article is titled, "The Problem with AI is Within Ourselves." And it says, the artificial intelligence promises to overtake the world, bringing perfect utopia. People will have computers do the laborious work, while we sit by the pool sipping lattes. That is the vision proposed by the creators of the large language model, LLM, AI systems like ChatGPT. But when we actually see what AI is able to achieve, it is often more terrifying than utopian. For sure, we've seen the book writing farms that overwhelm Amazon's book submission capacity. Another publisher that always accepted submissions directly from unknown authors, wanting to give away anyone a chance to publish their articles, had to halt submissions because of the mass influx of AI-written pieces. YouTube has changed policies regarding AI voices, and scammers are using ChatGPT to craft ever more effective phishing scams to dupe more people into their illegal and immoral enterprises. ChatGPT has also attracted lawsuits from people it has defamed. A user asked ChatGPT if it's better to annihilate millions with an atomic bomb or to speak a single racial slur, and the AI answered, saying the racial slur was always unacceptable, even in a scenario where it would prevent a nuclear holocaust.
And that is frightening.
Yeah, just a little bit. What happens when AI gets that red button? So it says, what's going on here? The answer is not readily admitted in modern university halls or in the company boardrooms responsible for bringing AI into the world. It is, however, one you will find in a Bible-believing church. The problem with AI is the problem with ourselves. It is original sin. To understand this point, we need to understand how artificial intelligence works. The machine does not create anything in the way the human mind does. It has absolutely none of the imagination bestowed on us by our Creator. What it, quote, creates comes from a large data set of available prior inputs. To illustrate, compare the way an artist might create a painting of a beach compared to how an AI program does the same. The artist likely has some experience on a beach. It might be the sandy, warm water beaches in Florida, the cooler waters of Southern California, or the rock formation-laden beaches in Washington or Oregon. Side note, little offended they left out Carolina beaches, but that's okay.
We've got the best beaches.
Yes. And it says, the artist understands the things one may find on the beach, but goes about creating the painting based on what might be there, and adding in the various elements he wants to see. It's never a perfect creation of what he has seen because he lacks perfect recall. But he understands what beaches are like and what we may find there, and he creates the scene on canvas from his mind. The computer has no such ability to create. It only recalls images fed into its training database. To avoid the appearance of plagiarism, it will take various images it has in its databank, compare them to other similar images, and begin a process of merging and blending them together. It fades the rough edges seamlessly so that we as people can't see where the various images are combined. And the result is usually at least somewhat realistic, but often unsettling as well. This is the blending that creates people with too many fingers, radically out-of-place objects, and other terrifying scenes often depicted by AI. And when it comes to writing documents, reports, and other tasks increasingly handed to the LLM, it does the same. It finds related content, blends it together, and then is often the case with us. It thinks something is missing. And it says in parentheses here, I use think advisedly. There is no actual thinking going on here. It goes on to say part of ChatGPT's purpose is to keep collecting more input. So you could say that it feeds off of users' questions, sending the input back up the chain, and then fills in the gap with any available data at any point where a merge line could be drawn. Now, this is really where the problem lies to me. I completely agree with this article, but I don't know how many people would. I think sometimes we are looking at all of the benefits of something. Maybe to quote Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park, we got so excited realizing that we could, we never stopped to think if we should.
Yeah, I read through this article this week, and now hearing you reading it aloud and thinking about it, I'm reminded of a time in college where I was in the School of Design, and the use of computers to do graphic design and any kind of design was just coming onto the horizon. And I wrote a paper about why computers should never be used for graphic design. And then I went on to have a 20-year career as a graphic designer where without a computer, I would have been dead in the water.
Right.
But what I looked at there was that a computer would never have the ability to appreciate. A computer would never have the ability to be creative. It could only do what you told it to do, and everything in it was a 1 or a 0. I said in the paper, God can create a tree, and a tree is beautiful. A computer, well, it can replicate a tree, but it cannot create it, and it cannot appreciate the aesthetics of the tree. And my professor, I think, failed me on the paper because he was really big into computers. But with AI, all the computer can do is what it has been told to do. And this idea of creating something and then finding the gaps in between the different realities it's replicating, then the computer says, okay, how do we fill this gap? How do we merge these two together? And that's where the problem comes in. And the article goes on to talk about how in a world filled with sin, the public tends to hunger for the violent. And the media knows this. The news media knows this. I open up my phone in the morning and I look at the headlines on the news websites. I don't hear about the fluffy little kitten. Not that that's going to make news, but what I see here is we're on the verge of this war. This person was killed. This person was decapitated live on YouTube. And these are the headlines. Why do they do that? It's going to attract an audience. Why do they want to attract an audience? Because that sells ads. The more you can attract, the more money you're going to make. Yeah. And I'm afraid that AI is becoming this tool that makes bringing up the terrifying and the fantastic that much easier to do.
Right.
And what it's doing is, yes, it's taking these realities, finding gaps, filling those gaps with something that's going to draw people in and make this mess into something that makes sense. And what's filling in those little gaps are all the bad things that we have done, all the bad things we want.
Yeah.
And it is just perpetuating this brokenness of the world. If we're looking for AI to create a utopia, God gave us a utopia, and we messed it up.
Yeah, before you do that, just watch Terminator, and that'll give you a good life lesson. For me, I actually recently used ChatGPT because I was trying to research some statistics. Of course, we know that the Jewish people were cast out from their homeland, and there's the Great Diaspora, and they're all throughout Europe, and then World War II happened, and a lot of them came home. And I tried 3 different ways to phrase my question on what percentage of people have Jewish DNA. And I got a similar answer all 3 times of, it's not appropriate to ask questions about people's ethnicities. No, I'm just trying to see, for factual stuff. And so it is only a result of what we say is important. And obviously there's a lot to be said about cancel culture, PC stuff and all of that. But I think what's interesting is, I forget who it was that originally said this, but God made us in his image. And ever since then, we've been trying to make God in ours. And so this article even starts with how AI could be used to create a utopia where we could sit by the pool and sip lattes. And the reality is God created reality not so that he could just sit back and not have to do anything. And I understand that some people on the outside don't get this because we are called to worship God. But he wanted relationship with us. He wants to accomplish things with us. And we're just looking to wipe the slate clean and not have to work. It's hard.
We are looking to AI, or some people, not me, some people are looking to AI to make life a whole lot easier. I posted something in a clergy group on Facebook asking for direction on using some worship software or something. And another clergy person said, oh, well, just do this and this, and then use AI to fill in, use GPT to fill in the other stuff. And I thought, nope,
no thanks.
Not going to happen.